Hello there. So good to have you on the Africa's most reliable personality channel, and that is G24/7 TV. From KUSEMA to the IDIONG, Kuseme Idiong is my name, and I'm so excited to be your anchor today on this program. The Balance. Remember, The Balance is a program poised at addressing topical, religious, political, and societal crisis. And this is where we find a workable solution to the perplexing issues and seemingly overwhelming challenges in the society. With me, this moment is a very respected servant of God, and I must say he's a humanitarian and a philanthropist. The list is endless. But I'll go on a quick break, and when I'm back, the program continues, and I will welcome my guests. Go nowhere. So good to have you. Welcome back to G24/7 TV, Africa's most reliable personality channel. And this is where personality meets and talk. Certainly things that has to do with personality. Of course, you that is also watching us, you're a personality right there. Like I said, I have a very wonderful, a distinguished guest on this program, The Balance. And it's my pleasure to bring on the program the agency and, of course, a remedy specialist. The profile is very long, but as we begin to talk, you get to know more about who I'm meeting today. So good to have you, Apostle Dr. Ambassador Joseph Cookey.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Let's get our audience engaged on who we're sitting with.
Okay. My name is Joseph Cookey, the privileged senior pastor of Awesome God Ministries, headquarters in Port Harcourt. I am happy to be here and I'm happy to be in this meeting. That's just who I am.
Okay, let's begin this way. Is Dr. Cookey a pastor, a philanthropist? What class can we define you?
Okay, by the grace of God, the Bible said Jesus went about doing good. I'm a pastor, and looking at the ministry of Jesus, he didn't just go about preaching. He went about doing good. The word there, doing good, is humanitarian.
Okay.
Yes. Jesus has this nature of philanthropic ambience in him. So he was able to preach, give to the arm. He gave food to the destitute. He made sure that people were blessed from him. So Joseph Cookey, by the grace of God, I'm a pastor, I'm a philanthropist, I'm a humanitarian orchestrator. Finally, I want to say this. I'm a rector of a school, a Bible school.
Okay.
Yeah, Awesome God Prophetic School.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be getting to talk about the prophetic school, but
Okay.
before then, let's center on this area of calling. You were calling to ministry as a pastor,
Yes.
a prophet. What's your line? You know, we have the fivefold ministry.
My
So let's
area
get to
specification.
talking.
Okay, I was called into the ministry as a prophet,
Okay.
but as a prophet, I began as an evangelist. In fact, I'm a church boy. What do I mean by being a church boy? I started from the ushering department in church into the music department, the choir department. Migrated from there. I was ordained as an evangelist. From there, as a pastor. From a pastor to consecrated as an apostle. But my major concentration in ministry is the prophetic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my major calling. Is the prophetic, but the other ecclesiastical positions are all embedded in the prophetic.
Okay.
Yes. So in the fivefold ministry, we have the teacher, the pastor, the evangelist, the apostle, and the prophet.
Yeah.
And the apostle is the zenith of the fivefold ministry. Is the one leading all. The apostolic position is not just an office. The apostolic position is a responsibility that every preacher that is called or consecrated as an apostle must know. That is why there is a difference between the apostolic and the pastor. The pastor can be ordained, apostles are not ordained. Apostles are consecrated.
Okay.
Yes, their module of consecration is different from the pastor. You can ordain a pastor. You don't just ordain an apostle. He must be elected for 1 year, and during that election, he's probably under probation. And the church and other ecclesiastical religious body must investigate him to know whether he's worthy. That's on how to consecrate a new apostle. And on the day of his consecration, a lawyer must be there. He must take a legal oath of office.
Okay.
Yes.
If I want to find out, is that happening today? Looking at the YCD Pentecostal, does that exist?
Yes, I was consecrated that way.
Okay.
So if they are not, some persons are not following that procedure, then they are doing wrong. What they are doing is just the wrong thing, and that is how they are destroying the body of Christ. Personally, I was consecrated that way.
Okay.
By River State Bishop College.
All right. Okay, let's get to find out about their prophetic ministry. If you look at it today in this country, it's one of the most criticized area of calling.
Yes.
How do you survive that ministerial power?
The prophetic ministry is one of the most criticized area of calling because so many things happen in the prophetic ministry. But this is just what I want to say. The gift of a prophet is not from men, it's from God. And looking at what is happening in the society today, most young pastors want to be prophets. Whether they are called or not, they just want to be prophets. Now, there's one thing about me, I never entered into ministry because I want to. Most times I usually say it on the altar, my ministerial calling is not a decision. No. If I was to make a decision, I wouldn't have been a man of God. That was far from it. My decision, I studied electrical engineering from Uniport. So I was doing excellently well as an electrician. A technician, I was doing well. There were many jobs for me to do, but the moment the calling came, though I came from an ecclesiastical family, a Levitical home, a home where my parents were all men and women of God. So I saw myself, I said, no, I can't go through this thing. Looking at their level and their life then as men and women of God, I said, no. So the calling kept coming. I had several encounters. You see pastors, sometimes I'll be moving on the road, the woman will just stop me and say, the Lord said that is waiting for you. The crowd of people say miracles. I say, why are you running from the calling? Sometimes I'll be dreaming, I'll be having calling issues. I say, I'm not interested. I don't want to do anything pastoral work. Until I had an encounter with a mad woman. On my way coming back to my house, a mad woman stopped me on the street and pointed at me and called my full name, Joseph Clifford Cookey. I was shocked. He said, you have just 24 hours to make decision to answer my call or you die. I felt it was a man. I said, get out. The time I turned my back, she disappeared. I took off. So all through that night, I couldn't sleep. And I made up my mind. And making up my mind was not just the beginning of it. I have to go through. I need to be embedded with the scripture and ecclesiastical theological principles. I have to go into Bible school. I took about 4 years. I did my BSc, my diploma, BSc, and MSc in theology. So coming out from there, that was the beginning of my journey. And that beginning was deadly. It was deadly.
Okay, let's roll this back to your soul salvation. Let's take that point out there. From when you met Jesus, your life turned, and have you ever had this the world picture before you met Christ? Several pastors.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. From records, several pastors they must have had one encounter somewhere. Then Jesus held them. Share your experience.
Yes,
here.
I did. Before I became a man of God, I was a technician, electrical engineer. That's what I studied. At that moment of time, I wasn't married. Though my marriage is about 20-something years now. I'm married with 4 children.
Yes,
so before then, I wasn't married. I was doing my technical job, getting my menial money, and I wasn't a spiritual person. So I wasn't concentrated about the church. I don't, though my parents were priests, but I was not in agreement with what they were doing. So I was living my wayward life. So a carnal life, so to say, until the calling came. So I have to migrate from the world to the spirituality. So that at that moment of my life, it wasn't a waste. It was an experience that is helping me today. Yes, it wasn't a waste. It was an experience that is helping me today. In fact, because of where I grew up from a place called Dube in Port Harcourt. So I had courtesies. If you know Dube,
Definitely.
courtesy was, in fact, it was part of the place. And one thing I didn't do is that I was under pressure then to join them. They bam, they were. So anytime I'm going out, they will come. They will beat me off, they will take my phone, they will search my pocket, they will take money. If you don't join us, we'll kill you. I said, it's better I die. Then I wasn't a pastor, but I didn't ever wanted to join cultism. I said, it's better I die. They will beat me, and in fact, they did that severally, and they saw that my mind was made up. So the experience at that moment wasn't really palatable. I had several experiences that I was able to pull through. But in all, I believe in God. I didn't want to do things that would affect my parents based on their priesthood. So I decided not to. No matter how recalcitrant and worldly I was, there are certain things I choose not to do. More especially cultism, stealing. You know, in those days as a young man, when you don't have money, some people go.
Definitely.
I said no. So then I have to, instead of that, what I did was, in Port Harcourt, I was a taxi driver. I was a conductor. The bus, I have to conduct a bus from Boko to town, those who knows that area. So I did all of that to make sure that I never wanted to steal from anybody. I didn't want to do things that would bring shame to my family.
All right. In case you're just joining us, the program is The Balance, and I have a very wonderful guest by name Apostle Dr. Joseph Clifford Cookey here on the program of Awesome God Ministries in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. Viewers, remember you can hit on the subscribe button on your YouTube if you're watching us there right now. Hit the subscribe button and have all of our updates and other videos coming through this page. And remember, this program is also aired on Star Time 113 channel that will help you watch us. And remember, the program is also on Facebook at G24 TV. Thank you, and still be with us. Let's move to father-son relationship. Do you believe in spiritual mentorship and accountability?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Going through the life of a man, Joshua, if there was no Moses, there wouldn't have been Joshua. If there wasn't a man called Elijah, there wouldn't have been Elisha. If Samuel was not there, David would have been matched. Mentorship is part of the ministry. It's part of the calling. Someone who must mentor you. I have a spiritual father. I have mentors. So someone must mentor you. In life, you can only fail when you don't have anyone who can correct you or rebuke you. No matter how successful you think you are, you must have somebody that when you're wrong, you say, come, stop that thing you're doing. That's fatherhood. That's mentorship. There's a relationship between that transfer from mentor to mentee. That relationship must be cordial. I believe so much in mentorship. I believe so much in fatherhood. Without fatherhood, you end up as a man without a hood. Yeah. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. This is a Trinity principle that is embedded in fatherhood. So any man of God that said fatherhood is not necessary, he might be going far, but he will lack capacity because someone must correct you. Fatherhood is not a position, it's not an assumption, it's a responsibility. They must be there to protect you by their words. One word from them becomes a blessing. You must have someone you say, this is my mentor, this is my role model. someone you're trying to be like or to be more than. So you shouldn't just live your life as a priest and say, I am comfortable, I don't need a father. That means you are destitute, not a destiny. When you don't have a father, you're a bastard. So when you lack spiritual father, you're a spiritual bastard.
Okay, let's talk about remedy specialist. Remedy specialist. How possible is the college? From where?
Okay, that started from a program in Biosha titled Remedy.
Okay.
Started from a program in Biosha titled Remedy. After that program, people started calling me Remedy Specialist.
And
Because that day it was a miracle, a chronicle of miracles. God came down mightily, miracles. There was so much massive testimony. So from that day, they started calling me Remedy Specialist. I go by that name, Remedy Specialist. Most times you don't give yourself a name. People give you name based on your expression. Yeah. So when they saw it, they said, wow, this is indeed a remedy for malady. It's okay, Remedy Specialist. I go by many names.
I think this has been one of the very outstanding for the agency, and people who know the agency very well. And this remedy has entered into the area of, do I say, human capacity development or human capital development. That has gone far in terms of you've done a lot of youth empowerment, widows empowerment, market trading, and all of that. Why do you choose this path?
Okay, like I said before, Jesus went about doing good. I'm a man of God that is very compassionate.
Okay.
Coming to my background, I grew up from a family. I was not born with silver spoon, not even with rubber spoon. I was born with that spoon, so we're eating with our hands. There was no spoon. And when God carried us to this level, I sat down. I said, well, there are people who are still passing through the same thing. There are those that are blessings, and our little kobo and 1 naira could help them. That's okay. The Lord spoke to me. The Bible said in the book of Genesis chapter 12 verse 1, and God said to Abraham, I will bless you, and thou shalt be a blessing. Now, when blessing is not generational, it's not current, it's not a blessing. Blessing must be current. I know what is current.
Yes.
It moves.
Transgenerational.
So, yes, I have to. It's okay. The Lord showed the first philanthropic movement or remedy I did was I think was in the market or something. No, I started from the church.
Okay.
I had widows. Right now, there are widows in church. I pay salary monthly. Aside from the church, bought some little bag of rice. I called our widows and I gave to them. Gave them some foodstuffs. And from there, we migrated into the market. From there, we moved into youth empowerment, widows sustenance program. I even went to 7 communities, 7 local governments in River State to empower widows, youth. So there are some of these widows that, based on conditions and situation, environment, you see, some of them, a cup of rice they don't have at home. Some of them are farmers, and be able to harvest in 1 or 2 things becomes difficult. So you see many of them, when we're giving them the little food, the excitement alone was fulfilled. I was like, thank you, Father. If we can reach out to these people, and this, you are born, every man of God is meant to feed the poor. Poverty is not the absence of money. No. Poverty is the absence of mentality.
Yes.
The absence of money scarcity. So when you see most of these people in the village, they are not poor because there's no money, there's no food. They are poor because the environment and the mentality to cultivate or to possibly produce something becomes a problem. Now, some of them, when I've been to villages, you see, by the time we keep giving them food and all that, no food at home. There was a woman in the market when I was doing market women empowerment. In the process of talking with her, I was giving 50, I got to a point I gave her 100. And why? I was prompted by her story. Mama, why? This is it what you sell? I say, yes. How much do you sell in a day? She said 500 naira. So imagine the situation of this country that someone will come out to the market and at the end of the day you sell 500 naira. And I asked her, "Where are your children?" She said, "They are all dead. There's only one remaining, and that one is mad." And right, she was crying. I said, "Why are you crying?" She said, "Because landlord has given her quick notice." So imagine that the depression, the emotional trauma.
Yeah.
So I was moved to give her 100,000. And I now told my committee, say, put her name in among widows. I'll be paying salary every month, so that we can be able to radiate this shame and reproach. That is, the gospel is not just only speaking from the altar. The gospel is not your vocabulary. It's not your evangelism. The gospel majorly is tied to feeding the poor, giving home to the destitute. So because of that, I have to create a foundation where I feed widows, I pay them salaries. Most widows in our church are on salary every month.
Okay, let me put you figuratively on this. You've actually empowered about 300 market women and over 45 youths, and also student scholarship of over 50 that cannot be counted. Can you make this in a very figurative terms? Because why we need this is very important. People get to understand that you are not doing this for showmanship. There is a reason, like you've explained. Let's be figurative, possibly, if you can recall some of these acts.
Yeah, before then, there's no way I can do this for showmanship,
Okay.
because I'm not a politician. So I don't have
You're not looking for a position.
So I'm not looking for a position. There's no aim.
Yeah.
My major focus is to make sure that God's people are held. That I'm not looking for any position that people will say is doing it to gain a position or whatever.
Yes.
No. I'm not doing it for evangelism. I have modem of if I want to do evangelism, I have the team. So evangelism team, I will have a way of doing evangelism. I wouldn't want to spend, because sometimes I notice you spend like 15 million, 20 million. You don't do that for evangelism. No church does that for evangelism. It is a humanitarian scheme from the heart of love. So, looking at that, most times you see people say, it's just like what you just said now.
Yeah.
Some people say, you're doing it maybe you want to show off. I say, show off what? I notice that's a word of jealousy and words of hate and the rest of it. Those are things we see. You don't do so. I'm not a politician. I'm not contesting for any political position. I am not politically inclined. I am a preacher, and a preacher of love and Christ. So what I'm exhibiting to the people is just love, the love of Christ. Love is not verbally communicated. Love is sacrificially communicated. If you verbally communicate love without sacrifice, it is lost.
Yeah.
So, in a brief terms, what I'm doing is just to make sure that God's people, more especially, are moving destitute into destiny, taking the pains of men. In fact, sometimes if you go through our videos or our videos on YouTube or even on Facebook, the emotional trauma, seeing these people alone, see the way. Are you aware there are people right now as I'm talking to you, families, so widows. I'm majorly concentrating on widows and most youths. Widows and most youths. Not just everyone. Widows and most youth. There are some young men that will come to me and look at them. They say, go and look for money. Go and make us something out of your life. You don't just come. I'm not looking for you. I'm looking for the widows.
Okay, let's talk about 20 years in marriage and how many years in ministry thus far?
I've been 19.
19 in ministry. Okay. You must have recorded several testimonies, and this is very countless. But there are miracles that they are like heart swollen. This is something that it strikes you once in a while. Could this be God? Can you have pointers to this kind of testimonies?
Last week we had a miracle that, in fact, it was amazement to me. The miracle was, I call it the miracle of the week. That was in our Bayelsa branch. A woman that the husband, they were married for 8 years. After 8 years, she conceived and had a daughter. The daughter was about 14 years. I don't know what happened. The daughter took in. She was pregnant. The mother went to abort the child, and the girl died. So, their only child. They came to church, left the girl at home. She died after 24 hours. She died on Thursday. They came to church on Friday morning. And by God's grace, I was able to minister to them by 3 p.m. While I was praying, I said, go and bury the child. There's nothing we can do. While she was going, the Lord spoke to me. He said, speak. Let the child come back to life. I took the picture of the dead child. I prayed. While they were there, they called them, the child jerked back to life. That is a mind-blowing miracle. That's not just a miracle, it's a creative miracle. I've seen issues of cancer, kidney failure. God have renewed kidney of people. Some great men in River State and all over the world. Right now, ministry, where we have about 6 branches outside Nigeria. Yes, over 6 branches outside this country. Now, I've seen miracles, more especially some of our foreign miracles are really mind-blowing. From Europe, from Africa, some of our major foreign miracles, they are mind-blowing. I've seen God. Most times I see God do things through me. I say, wow, how did you do it? He said, I'm the God of all flesh. Is there anything too difficult? I said, no. So, some of the miracles I've seen, they are mind-blowing. In fact, sometimes I get flabbergasted. So, what is this? I've seen creative miracles. I've seen stroke being healed. Paralyzed man stands up and walks. Eyes of the blind open. Deaf, dumb. I've seen miracles. And those miracles, those are just miracles. I'm not talking about testimonies. Testimonies, they are not, they might not be visible miracles, but they are things God has done. People get job, people travel abroad, and the rest of it. Like last week or so, one of our sons in church, a young man of about 24 years, he has been running around, he's always there begging people for money, but he's a graduate. And one of the days I called him and told my office, I prayed for him. I said in 14 hours, help will come that will take you out of the country. That was all. 14 hours after I prayed that prayer, one of the aunties that lives in London that forgot the family for 10 years called the family. And the person spoke with him. He said, what do you do? He said, I've graduated since how many years? Nothing. It's okay. I'm going to give you a number. Call that number. Go to Abuja. They'll give you a job. He called the number. Got to Abuja. They asked for his international passport. Thank God he was prepared. He had one. They went through biometric and the rest. They told him to go, that they would call him back. 3 days after, he saw an email. What was it there? A visa to London. The sister took him by surprise. Remember the word. As I'm seeing international contacts. That was a prayer point. And today, as I'm talking to you, he's in London. He just sent a video testimony which we read on Sunday from London. And the sister have offered him a job there. The auntie, has offered him a job there. He's in London as I'm talking to you right now. So I've seen multiples of miracles. I've seen miracles that are shocking. Sometimes when it happens, I say, how did it happen? I used to ask God, how did you do this? He said, I'm the God of all flesh. So wow, this is just, even to me, I'm in shock. What is this? So, but to God be the glory. I thank God because I know his capacity. I've followed him for years, so I know what he can do. And I know who he is.
Okay, let's roll this to all of these years in ministry, and you've seen heart, soul, and testimonies, and all of this. They are creative miracles, and this can only be God. This will take me to asking you.
Go ahead.
Someone watching this video can be, it could be very lovely. This man doesn't have a problem, and it looks sweet watching from the screen. From the starting point, has there ever been challenge or challenges? Because definitely the only thing that can move from top down is a grave. But if you want to move to the top, you must use the ladder. Challenges on the way. How do you manage, if there is any at all?
My starting point wasn't really easy. It was difficult. There were several challenges. In fact, I saw the worst part of wilderness experience. The worst part of life and process of destiny is when your encouragers are discouraging you. when I finally accepted to serve God on the calling, in that process I left Bible school. I met a great preacher, one of the biggest fathers we have in River State, name withheld. And it's okay that with my certificate, Lisa, I wanted to work in your children department as a children pastor. I don't need salary, though I never had nothing, but I just wanted to explore what I've learned from school, biblically and otherwise. And he looked at me and said, God didn't call me. That's another form of discouragement. And when I've heard that God, and with my visions and all of that, I left the office in pains and in tears. The Lord told me while I was walking on the street, he said, "Do you know why he disqualified you?" I said, "No." He said, "You were not looking cold." I said, "How?" He said, "Look at your shirt. It doesn't have covenant with iron. Your belt have peeled off. Your shoe is that of Moses' shoe. Your trouser is just flying up. So looking at you, and the church is classy, so you don't look." I laughed. So the Lord said, "I am God of all flesh. Listen to me. I have called you. Don't listen to him." That was the only word I heard that encouraged me. But today he has preached for me twice. So one of the days when he preached for me, I asked him, I said, "You remember yourself with God?" He said, at that time you were not looking it. Now you are. You weren't looking it. Though weren't looking it. I laughed. I said, so with that mentality, I told myself, I said, that is why I don't look down on people. No matter how low you are in life, I will never look down on you. That's one thing about me. Because he looked down on me. Because at that moment in time, I wasn't really looking it. I was looking like an abandoned project. So it was a little bit challenges. I had some challenges in school. When I started the ministry, it was like I said before, as a pastor, I drove taxi. I did even as a pastor, so that I can put food, because there was no money coming from the ministry. Right now, even there's no money in ministry. The money is in the calling. Yeah. People would see pastors, they think money is in the church. No, it's in the calling, not the church. At the end of the service, even the money that you derive from the offering can't even food to the deserve. You still add your money. I have about 300 to 600 persons. No, 300 to 400 persons are paying salary at the end of the month. So even the church money cannot do that. The money is in the calling. Because by the time sometimes you finish services, you notice there are some people who need transport to go home. You will not discover, say, go and do this, do that. There's no money. The money is in the calling, not in the church.
Okay. All right, viewers, in case you're just joining us, the program is The Balance, reaching you from G24 TV, Africa's most reliable personality channel. I have been talking to a very wonderful gentleman, AJC Apostle Dr. Joseph Clifford Cookey. He's the senior pastor, the governor, the general overseer of Awesome God Ministries, Port Harcourt, River State, Nigeria. It has been a very talking time and engaging. Also, I must say, with this wonderful, handsome, though I say beautiful man. Yes. So let's call this a wrap. I would like you to give a word of advice. Someone who is looking up, I think I should be like him. What are those words of encouragement, those words of bulletin to this person?
2 things I want to say. Never pray to be like a man or another man.
That's fine.
Pray to be yourself. The reason is this. If the man you're praying to be like, if he tells you the sacrifice, you don't want to be like him. The sacrifice of coming to this level. You wouldn't want to be like him. Pray to be yourself. I grew up praying to be like this man of God, to be like the other man of God. But when I had an interactions with them, they have personal sacrifices. That's okay. I want to be like Joseph Cookey. And I'm myself. So if you're watching me out there, don't just pray to be like this man or that man. Pray to be yourself. Because everyone have a personal revelation with God and a personal encounter with God. Moses met God. And his encounter was that remove your shoe. The sword in your hand is useful. He had a burning bush experience. Now, there is what we call burning bush experience. If you want to pray to be like me, get ready to go through my wilderness experience. That's just what I mean. Because some people, they will not. Get ready to go through my wilderness experience. That's why you see many fake pastors and fake prophets around, because they are not ready to go through this anymore. No. Many of them does not. They are not ready to go through this anymore. We went through hell. Personally, I went through hell. They just want a ready-made. Our consistency and relevance in ministry is because we come in process. We are not in a haste. We are not rushing anywhere. We come in process. We are gradually pushing up to get to where God wants us to be. And we will get there. So I don't see a man's success I want to aid me. I don't see a man's progress I wouldn't tell you I want to be like Oyedepo. No, I will not. If you ask me who I want to be like, I say I want to be greater than Oyedepo. If I tell you I want to be like Oyedepo, I might get to his level and stop. Every father should know that his son must be greater than him. So I advise young youth one thing, I say, don't pray to be like somebody. Pray to be yourself. Because the person you're praying to be like, if they present to you the sacrifices and the hurdles, the experience you went through, you might not want to go through them. God might want to lesser your own. Because you want to be like him, it's okay, but take what he carries. At that moment, you miss it. So that is the reason why I want to advise young youth, young men, everyone watching me. One of the things you should know today is that what is success? I want to define success. Success is failure raised to power 7. Proverbs 24, verse 16. The righteous falleth and riseth 7 times. Is failure raised to power 7. What do you mean, man of God? If you don't fail and fail and fail, you will not succeed. When you fail doesn't mean you are down. When you fail doesn't mean you are down. Micah chapter 7, it said, rejoice not over me, O my enemy, for yet I fall, I will rise again. Now, success is failure. You must fail. You must fail. You must fail. You must fail. You must fail until you succeed. Now, those failing period is not a discouragement. It is an embodiment to enhance you. It's a necessity that when you arrive there, you should be able to know that you'll be solidified. Never give a man who has now handled 1 million, 10 million. If you give him 10 million naira, the next 1 month, you will not see the money again. No investment. But the man who has handled 1 million, 2, 3 million, if he sees 10 million, you make something out of it. Not a man who has seen 100,000, 50,000, and said, take 10 million. He will just want to believing the money will come back again. But a man who has handled it before, now when you fail, it builds you. It makes you succeed. Michael Faraday, the founder of electricity, you know how many times he tried before he got to this level that we're enjoying electricity. And if that was even what killed him. Yes. So I want to encourage everyone. I want to use this medium. And at the same time, every profession has fake. If you have a fake pastor, you have a original pastor. If you have, so there are some fake media houses too. That is true. There are those who bring camera to your face and they go, nothing happened. So every profession has fake. But one thing you should know, the original is always stronger than the fake. When you see the original, you don't just know them by signs and wonders. You know them by the attribute of Christ in them. There are men that are troubles of this generation, and God has sent them to be a blessing to humanity. That is why when you see them, we are not doing ministry for money. We are doing ministry for humanitarian purposes. So that is just the truth. And that is where I said something. I said the money is not in the ministry, it's in the calling. He didn't ask question why. The calling is productive.
Maybe perhaps I understood.
Yeah. So the calling is productive. For those who didn't understand, what do I mean by that? When I pray for you, the Lord bless you. It is well with you. And it goes out and the prayer becomes a blessing. Oh, let me go and please, man of God, take this 10 naira. That's my calling.
Yes.
Like the man that travel abroad now, he started working. Daddy, please, I need your account number. I'll send you $10,000. Then that's the calling, not the church. So it is those who want to, when you want to make the church your source of income, you end up stressing the people. 2, pastors must be entrepreneurship in nature. Yeah. Learn to do business. I have fish farm in Port Harcourt. I have a bottled water factory. My wife is managing it. So I don't stress your members. Not when you it's not about buying cars and buying houses. No. Have businesses. Bishop Oyedepo, Pastor Jimmy, I know all of them one-on-one. They have businesses, chain of businesses. Even Pastor Bishop Himauso. He has chains of businesses. Invest. Make sure you have something. You're not building it just for the church, for your family. Tomorrow you might not be there. So they should have something that will sustain their family. One of the worst things about success is when you, after this dining table, you're on the floor. It's suiciding.
Yeah.
So I want to advise viewers all over there. Follow this 247 G247 TV. Join them. In fact, the name alone, when I heard the name, I said, wow, this is just creativity. This is creativity. I'm here with them today. Just get connected. Follow them online. Watch their TV. Follow all their programs and their YouTube channel. Be part of it. And remain blessed. God bless you. Let this word you have heard today help you and be a blessing. Most times our testimonies and stories of life encourages others. God bless you. Thank you very much.
That has been the size of our package for the program today. And remember, this program runs on the G24/7 TV. You can be part of our programs and partnership by calling the number running on the screens. That will help us talk to you directly. It's me signing out from this program. Remember, a man is not great because he hasn't failed. A man is great because failure hasn't stopped him. Keep doing what you're doing, and God bless you. Bye-bye for now.